So you're probably thinking to yourself, why is a man up here during an event that's surrounded by domestic violence? So I'll tell you, since as far back as I can remember, I've been surrounded or subjected to some type of abuse. I watched my mom for 18 years get beat by a man that she loved. And I felt powerless at all times. One, because he kept me in fear of what he would do to me. And two, I could not do anything for my mother. I was only an adolescent. I was a small guy. I was really small. Like I was, I didn't have none of this. I was like one of those skinny kids. So I always was in fear and always thinking about what can I do for my mother. 18 years straight, she did nothing but cry at my shoulder, wishing that something else would happen. I remember days where at nighttime, I literally used to sleep with a bag by my bed because I didn't know whether or not if the argument that weekend was going to lead us out of town in the car to try and get away from him, only to come back months later because she loved him so much. What I thought was, my mom loves him. What's going on? He said he loves her. We had countless conversations. I pleaded with him as a young man, asking him, listen, all you have to do is leave it alone. You don't have to say the words that lead to the argument. You don't have to do the things that lead to you hitting her. You don't have to hit my mom like that. Countless times we were in the hospital because she was beat on with numerous things. And we were living our life, and I finally found a woman that I love. But early on into it, I come to find out this wasn't love. I was being subjected to mental, physical, and verbal abuse as well. I was trying my best to stay there because I loved her and we had children. You know what? You know how it goes. Once you're in there, you're doing it for love, and then when it gets to a point where you're past the love, you're like, but my son needs me. My daughter needs me, and you stay a little bit longer. And I stayed a little too long. So the situation happened where I started to understand that I was in the wrong place. I was turned into my father by a situation that was abusive. One day, she got really upset with me. She wanted to throw me out. No, she didn't want to throw me out. She wanted me to do something she wanted to do, and I was not going to do it. So she got angry with me. And in my mind, I'm going to hit you. So if I'm going to hit you, I don't want to be my father, so I'm about to leave. Before I can leave, she smacked me in my face with a Victoria's Secret candle. Y'all know how hard the bottom side of that is. When I woke up, the police were in there. But before the Victoria's Secret candle, I got hit with a porcelain cookie jar. It gave me 2 lacerations in my arm, 1 across my face. And then when I woke up from the Victoria's Secret candle, there was a police officer in my room. And the first thing he said was, ma'am, is that your blood on his shirt? I just woke up right in front of you. I'm holding my arm together because I need stitches. And you're going to ask this woman, is that her blood? At that moment, I knew something needed to change. I've always thought deliberate about anything I was doing. And at that moment, I said, I need to be deliberate about getting away from this situation. I was in a bad situation because my mom was out of town. I was nowhere where I can be with anybody. All my family was out of town. I can't leave. I had nowhere to go. So I was subjected to her and what she wanted me to do for another 2 years. Then I was at a situation where I told myself, I'm going to get out of this. Something's got to happen. Someone has to give me some information to get out of it. And I was in the back room really trying to get away from her, and this movie called The Secret was on. Anybody ever seen The Secret? Talks about the law of attraction. In the other room, I heard the intro to it, and I instantly got up with a notepad, got in the next room, and wrote notes for the whole thing. And I said, you know what? I've tried everything else. Let me try something new. So for days, even during arguments, I'm better than this. I'll get away from it. Next year, I will be away from her. Next year, I'll be more successful. Next year, I'm going to be out of this. I can't wait for February 2nd, 2000, and I'll be gone. It happened. I looked up, and I was in my friend's house living with him, and I looked up again, and I was married to a woman that loved me. I looked up, and I had a son again, and I looked up, and everything was great for me. It's because I was deliberate about what I wanted. I deliberately talked to the air, to God. I don't care if you believe in God in here. If someone in here believes in God, I did that. So I'm telling you this to say, there's some things that you're going to have to do on your own. I'm going to tell you like this. A lot of us, we pray, be like, God, can you take this from me? God, can you take this situation from me, this circumstance? And I'm going to tell you right now, that's a selfish thing, because he told you in the Bible you already had voice to speak to the mountain, whatever obstacle you had in front of you. So stop asking God to take it from you. What you need to do is stop asking people, can I go around it? Stop asking people, can you take me in a helicopter, go over it? Stop asking all those other questions. What you need to do is say, what I'm going to do is two things. Either this mountain's going to move out of my way, or I'm going through it. Abuse, and we all go through it in some type of way. We just have to identify it verbally, emotionally, physically, all these things. You have to first identify it in your mind. What is it I'm going through? And then secondly, you have to tell yourself, I'm going to get through it, and believe it. Not just say it. You have to believe that you're going to get through it, because you're stronger than any situation that's coming about from you. And then lastly, be deliberate about your life. What I mean by deliberate is wake up every day and know what you're going to do every second, every minute, every hour, every month, every year. You know exactly what you're going to do. So I'm going to end it with this. I talk about it in my book about a GPS. Everybody, right now, we're going to get in this truck and we're going to drive to Memphis. Most of the time, we're going to put the address, the last destination, inside of our phone, right? And we're going to put it in there, and that's the end destination. We're going to drive the step-by-step instructions that the GPS is going to give us. You're going to need that in life. So what you need to do is go get a notebook. Write down at the top what you're trying to achieve, whatever it is, business, finances, relationship. Right at the top what you're going to try to achieve. And then I want you to write down the steps to get to there. It's okay to write a goal down, but you need to write down the steps to get to that goal. You need the tasks in between. Stop thinking that once you write it down and you look it out on the board, you're going to get to it. You need the tasks in between, the things, the work that you need to put in to get to that goal. I talk a lot in my book about the GPS, a lot of deliberate things that you can do to get successful in any area of your life. And don't let the way you feel affect the way you flow. Because sometimes we'll allow what we're going through in our head to affect the work that we're supposed to put in. The work that you're supposed to put in is the work you're supposed to put in. It has nothing to do with your feelings. The world does not care about your feelings. The world does not care about how tired you are, how many times you did this, how many times you do that. All it cares is about the work you put in. And the work you put in is going to be the reward that you get back. And this is the reward right here that we're doing right now. The work that we put in, the time that we put in to get here, the time that we got up and said, you know what, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to go out and I'm put in some work for a great cause.